Hey guys, we're going to do a quick little video here on hunting a small piece of property and what you got to consider. And this is going to be anything from say 5 to 100 acres. And basically the number one thing that I'm going to be looking on some of my pieces of property that are in that smaller range is going to be my entry and exit. And I've got to make sure that my entry and exit is as rock solid as I possibly can, as well as playing that wind on my entry, exit, and during my hunt. The number two thing is going to be the amount of pressure. So although we want to get out there and hunt as much as we possibly can, you are going to be a lot better off in regards to having a successful hunt, not only seeing deer but seeing those big mature deer if they are around, if you play to the weather. So, if you've got the ability to hold off from hunting and maybe hunt a different location or go out there on some public ground and hunt instead of hunting your private ground, then, that's probably something to definitely consider if you're just wanting to get out there and hunt. Or, laying off of your best hunting locations and hunt the outskirts just as an observation hunt and see if you can learn some and identify, some target deer that may be moving through that your cameras aren't picking up. Leading into my third topic there is going to be running cellular cameras. So you want to be non-intrusive as much as possible. So the more you're in there, the more scent you're going to bring in, and the more ability that those deer are going to have and recognize that there is some hunting pressure in there. So what I would try to what I'd recommend is if you've got a great way to get in and out of 2 or 3 stand locations, make sure that you've got a good a south wind, south to southwest wind, and then also a north to northwest wind, along with some east wind stand or blind locations. That way, regardless of the wind direction that particular day, if you do have those fronts come through, that you're going to be able to hunt and be able to get in and out successfully without busting a whole lot of deer. When it comes to the amount of like food, such as a food plot, putting it in there, and bedding, every piece of property is going to be slightly different. I'd highly recommend looking in the surrounding areas. If you've got a whole lot of timber and you've got some heavy, say bedding areas, but there's a lack of food in there, well, that's what I would isolate. Is I would try to get, what makes sense is to put food on your particular piece of property. Again, making sure you've got strategically placed stand locations or blind locations, and getting in and out. But once you start introducing that food there, that you're really going to have to start isolating that particular hunting location to only hunt in the evenings. And then you've got to worry about getting out without busting deer. So there's a lot that comes into play here, but this is something, a couple things for you to consider. Now we'll go at the opposite approach here, and let's say that you're surrounded by agriculture. You've got a bunch of wheat fields or whatever, but there's a lack of true bedding, heavy cover. That may be something for you to think about, is establishing a heavy cover area or sanctuary area that you don't go and then hunt between that sanctuary out to those agriculture fields, and basically create your little funnel or pinch, again, where you're able to hunt on any kind of wind direction. And strategically, that should make a good hunt for you. And then the third on that is water. If you are sitting up on a whole bunch of rolling hills, or out there on the plains, that you just don't have a whole lot of water for those animals, go get you 150 gallon tank of water, and that would really work out good. Whatever you got, whether it's a swimming pool or a 40 gallon tank, or 60 to 100 gallon tanks are really the ones I like to use if I'm going to be in a remote area. But if you're able to get in there, on occasion to fill those things up, those 40 gallon tanks or a swimming pool, it's going to work just fine. hopefully this helps you guys out on understanding, you know, how to hunt a small piece of property, what to really take into consideration to make it a successful piece of property. You know, lack of, you know, you don't want to overpressure that piece of property, run those cellular trail cameras, making your entry and exit, you know, as rock solid as possible, you know, establishing whether or not you need to have food or you really don't, you know, whether or not you need to have bedding or you don't, or water. And I think that will really work out very well in regards to, you know, educating yourself there, and then also you know, providing a great hunting atmosphere for you and your friend and family. So I appreciate you guys liking the video. Like always, hopefully you guys are getting out there in nature, and best luck on your upcoming hunt.